Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you are all having a great day. To start things off, China is in the news today and a lot of people are not very happy as to what they had to say. China's Ministry of Industry and Information Technology has released its official cryptocurrency ratings. The domestic experts awarded Ethereum first place and Bitcoin 13th place out of 27 coins that they reviewed. As online cryptocurrency news about CN Ledger reports, quoting local media outlet China Economic News, CEN, the Chinese government's top 5 cryptocurrencies began with Ethereum, followed by Steem, Lisk, Neo, and Komodo. Very interesting choices. The first tranche of ratings involved 28 cryptocurrencies, with Beijing's Ministry of Industry and Information Technology looking to expand the series to include public blockchain projects and more crypto assets. The scheme only came to light earlier this month when the ministry announced it at a Beijing conference. First-rate domestic experts and scholars contributed to the ratings, which they calculated on the basis of 3 indexes: technology, application, and innovation. Ethereum scored highly across all 3, giving it a lead rating, which echoes its first place in Weiss's cryptocurrency ratings from January this year, where a lot of people were not happy that Ethereum was also number 1. Conversely, Bitcoin appeared lacking in technology and application fields, despite beating every other crypto asset in innovation. I found them online. This is actually the list of the 28 coins that they reviewed. It's Ethereum, Steem, Lisk, Neo, and Komodo as number 1. XLM, Cardano, IOTA, XMR, and Stratus in the second place. You can kind of look at it. I don't actually have to go through every single coin. Very interesting to see how people will react, or rather at this point, if you can search around for about 5 minutes, people are not too happy. Anytime that Bitcoin is not number 1 in any type of list, people are very upset. People are upset that Steem beat Bitcoin, that IOTA and Cardano and Stellar Lumens also beat out Bitcoin. But this is what I've been saying for months. Whether you believe me or not, whether I know how people feel, there are a lot of Bitcoin people out there who believe that Bitcoin should be the only coin. This is the reality of the situation. These are the other projects that we kind of have floating around in the cryptocurrency space. I am interested to see if any other country does this. It's significant because China has all but banned cryptocurrencies within the country, yet they have still made a top 28 list of cryptocurrency projects out there, which is kind of odd because you would assume that they just would not care about cryptocurrencies at all. So it's going to be interesting to see if they end up changing this as Weiss ratings did, but I doubt that this is pretty concrete as to what China is planning on doing. So I can only imagine what you guys are thinking about Bitcoin being in 13th place. Continuing on, Binance is in the news again. Binance Coin, or BNB, is seeing an upward swing when the whole market is going south. The coin has already gone up by more than 23% in the past 24 hours. The market speculates that the reason behind the upward swing is because of the double referral commission reward announced by the Binance team. Earlier today, the Binance team announced on their official portal that they will double the referral commission to 40% of all account holders who hold 500 Binance coin or more. The double referral commission will start from the 19th of May at around midnight. The commission rate will be adjusted based on the holdings of the user every day. For all other users, the commission will remain the same at 20%, which is still a crazy amount of percent. And for those who do not know, this is why Binance is so popular. In addition, the Binance team also mentioned that the daily snapshots will not include BNB, which is in order or pending for withdrawal or deposit. For those who do not use Binance, or those who are looking for a great cryptocurrency exchange, once again, please make sure to always do your own research. But as of now, I have been using Binance since they first opened. I have had no complaints at all. Before this, I used to use Kraken, and there was a time when they were kind of overloaded and their servers were going really slow. This is when I mainly switched over to Binance. I think Binance is great. I like the team. I like their constant updates. If they're ever having any problems with their infrastructure or they're doing some type of updates, They remind or give people information on exactly what's happening on their website literally every hour on their social media platform. So you always know exactly what's happening with your money or anything that may be happening with the exchange. There is a link below, I believe, in the description that I have below for those who are looking to get into using Binance. I highly, 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 highly recommend them. Yeah, and this is the actual Binance coin is actually the only coin that's up right now. Not surprising. For some reason, the entire market is down. Still nice to see some green, even if it's just for Binance coin, but it's very, very smart on their part for exactly what they're doing and how they are actually using the coin. They actually even have a function if you have like a, for those who like day trade and stuff like that, or for those who have like 0.001 of a coin that you can never really trade into anything else, they have something called like a dust feature where you can swoop all of your, 15 cent, 45 cents that you can't really use on anything else and sweep them right into Binance coin. And it's also another great feature. They're just all around a great company. Steve Wozniak is in the news. Apple's co-founder, Steve Wozniak, has commented positively about cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology in his opening speech at We Are Developers World Congress 2018 in Vienna, Austria. According to a report by Cointelegraph auf Deutsch Wednesday, Wozniak said he considers blockchain to be a great idea. Blockchain is the major revolution that is about to happen. Wozniak explained his positive outlook on blockchain by the fact that there are many useful applications for the technology in a number of areas. The blockchain and cryptocurrencies, he said they will achieve their full potential in about a decade, according to Wozniak. Apple's co-founder quoted CEO of Twitter, Jack Dorsey, who said in March that Bitcoin will become the world's single currency. He was also in the news a day or two ago where he said that he believes that Bitcoin will become the currency of the entire internet within a couple of years. So as of now, the way that it stands is that we've had news from all these major people, especially people behind tech, and they have all said they believe within a couple of years that Bitcoin will be the currency, either the world's currency, or will be so used that when you walk into a store in the year 2023 and you try to pay in cash, people will laugh at you because you do not have Bitcoin. Whether that's going to happen, we will kind of see. This is not the first time that Steve Wozniak has made positive comments about cryptocurrencies and blockchain. At the Money 2020 conference in Las Vegas, back in October last year, he said that Bitcoin is better than gold and the US dollar. I remember when he said this caused a huge stir because a lot of people heavily disagreed with him. But I think overall, the optimism around blockchain and cryptocurrencies is literally at an all-time high. This is kind of why I'm perplexed, why the market is down, but it's still nice to hear good news. Whatever the case may be, why the market is down, is good to hear that these people who are heads of industry are kind of still giving us the thumbs up because they believe in the tech and where it is going. A recent discussion has been coming up, and this is actually accelerated, especially because of a lot of the new coins that are launching. They are not using the proof of work way of mining. According to a new study, the Bitcoin network could be consuming as much as 0.5% of the world's total electricity, a number comparable to the amount of power used by the entire country of Ireland. There are a lot of actually other estimates that say that we're close to using 1% of the world's electricity, and I'll get into something really interesting at the end of this. That said, determining exactly how much electricity the Bitcoin network uses, necessary for understanding its impact and implementing policy in the future, is not straightforward. According to a blockchain specialist, Alex de Veers, who said at the tax advising firm PwC in the Netherlands, he said, "We've seen a lot of back-of-the-envelope calculations, but we need more scientific discussion on where this network is heading. Right now, the information available is pretty poor quality overall. I'm hoping that people will use this paper as a foundation for more research." The estimates based on De Veer's background in economics put the minimum current usage of the Bitcoin network at 2.55 gigawatts. As noted, almost as much electricity as Ireland. Another comparison puts a single transaction at using as much electricity as an average household in the Netherlands uses in an entire month. I read an article a couple of days ago, and they were also talking about it on a recent podcast. Can't remember which podcast because I listen to like 8 a day. They were saying that based on the calculations, the reason why so many people believe, especially John McAfee, why the price, I know a lot of people don't really care for John McAfee. I really don't either. The reason why these calculations have come up as to why Bitcoin will hit 1 million not only has to do with its adoption, people buying it, the reward being cut in half when you are mining Bitcoin, but it's about it being more difficult to mine it and the amount of electricity that will have to go into this in order to mine it. By the time we are around the year 2030, it'll become so difficult to mine Bitcoin that estimates are now saying that it will cost around $1 billion to mine one Bitcoin because of the amount of electricity and because so many people are constantly joining the network to start mining. You may be surprised there are a lot of people who are actually trying to still mine it with their home computers. This still adds on to the difficulty rising over a period of time. Within the next 12 years, they believe that the cost of mining one Bitcoin will be $1 billion, which mathematically speaking, this is why also a lot of people believe that Bitcoin has value, is because the electricity that goes into creating it. So within the next couple of years, when the reward gets cut in half, and they're saying that the cost of one Bitcoin should be anywhere from $250,000 to $1 million, what will that mean for the price of Bitcoin by the time it costs $1 billion to mine it? Keeping in mind, this is 2030 we're talking about. And they said that the last Bitcoin won't be mined until the year 2140. That's 90 years before the last Bitcoin will be mined. So it's all kind of putting it into perspective. It's all very interesting to really think about exactly how much electricity this is actually using. There are a lot of people who are against what is actually happening because they don't believe that this is sustainable. They don't believe that at some point people will want to spend collectively $1 billion in order to mine one Bitcoin. And this is why so many coins are moving away from the proof of work algorithm, especially all the 3.0 coins, IOTA, Cardano, EOS, etc. They're all moving towards, or already have implemented those that can still be mined. They're moving towards the proof of stake algorithm or proof of stake mining simply because you can just have your computer on and it's a lot easier. It's a lot less electricity that has to be used because at some point there are a lot of countries that have actually shut down mining operations. I didn't really make videos about them because it seemed kind of not really significant, at least at the time. There have been a couple of countries who were very favorable to people using their hydroelectricity and other things in order to mine cryptocurrencies. But as the cost continues to rise, they have literally kicked these people out of their countries. Not to spend too much time on this, but this is going to be a very big factor, at least I believe, in the price of Bitcoin as we go forward, because not a lot of people will be able to keep up with their operations or continue to build their mining warehouses in order to mine Bitcoin for much longer. Holy cow, that was a lot. Okay. So, Michael Novogratz is once again in the news. Michael Novogratz went on Fox Business yesterday to talk about the Bloomberg Galaxy Crypto Index. He also spoke about his past investing in Bitcoin and his opinion on its future. The index was created in a partnership between Bloomberg and Novogratz's Galaxy Digital Capital Management LP. The index aims to provide benchmarking of cryptocurrency assets for investors to use in a transparent fashion. Novogratz spoke about how he bought Bitcoin when it was $96. Must be nice. He said that he sold a lot along the way, that he's not the only one. There are a lot of people who sold. Little segue. I was reading an article a couple of days ago, and it was about this guy who's really into Bitcoin. He's heavily into Bitcoin. The whole point of it is that he's actually obsessed with it. And I think part of his obsession is he got into Bitcoin when it was around $1. He said his friend made him get into it. And he said when Bitcoin hit $20, he told his friends, he was like, guys, it's never going to go any higher than $20. He said he sold almost everything. He said, I think the price went up to $1,200 and he completely lost his mind because he had around 5,000 Bitcoin that he sold at $20. So this is kind of mimicking exactly what the other guy did. Yeah, he said he sold a lot and that the retail bubble popped in January, leading to a 75% correction when Bitcoin was around $19,000 and Ethereum around $1,300. He explained how the aftermath of the recession caused the explosion of cryptocurrency and digital assets. Post the 2008 financial crisis, Bitcoin emerged as a hope for so-called cypherpunks, as Satoshi's white paper was released around that time. Yes, he goes pretty much into, he talks about exactly what he thinks will happen. He says that he pretty much does not believe that Bitcoin will hit the numbers that it hit when we were in January until institutional money starts flowing into it, because it's kind of like a domino thing. This is why I still think that we have had all this news about these major institutions, especially about Coinbase, creating 4 different things in their new marketplace. I think one of them was Coinbase Prime, and it's only for institutional investors. It seems to be everyone is lining up the entire thing, and everyone's waiting for the first big money to get into it. There was something else about companies who are looking to make Bitcoin futures or Bitcoin ETFs and stuff like that. Everyone is waiting for the one company to come forward and do it, because at this point, then it will kind of legitimize the cryptocurrency space, and everyone else will start dumping their money into it, because they'll say, oh, this rich guy did it, so let me definitely do it as well. He says he believes that nothing will move the way that it did before until, he stated that until institutional names come into the market as custodians, Bitcoin would not reach its previous highs. Let's see exactly if that happens. A lot of people still believe that we need institutional money in order to get us into a multi-trillion-dollar asset class. But a lot of people still believe that the market will go up before all the major money begins to pile in. Next up, this one's kind of interesting. The 7th largest bank in the Philippines by assets ran Bitcoin miners at a conference this week, signaling bullish sentiment from the local finance industry. Images uploaded to social media from the Business World Economic Forum 2018 by Satoshi Citadel Industries co-founder Miguel Cuneta show Union Bank CEO Edwin Bautista running 4 GPU miners at the bank's booth. According to Cuneta, who was also present at the conference, Unibank set up a small mining rig to experiment and explore how it works. I have my own ideas about banks using cryptocurrencies. They want to learn more, and the best way is through experience, he wrote in comments. Bautista himself delivered a presentation on Bitcoin and blockchain, during which he told audience members about the mining-focused Bitcoin experiments by the bank. I have said 38,000 times before, if you think that banks are not mining and or buying cryptocurrencies in the nicest way possible, it's time to wake up. The fact that they had a Bitcoin mining rig is literally kind of like a, hey, we're definitely doing this. There are so many, the entire thing that's happening in Russia right now, they have set up their entire thing so that the only way to get into cryptocurrencies is to be an institutional investor, if you will. They have set limits on normal people, not even joking. If you're an everyday person, you're trying to get into cryptocurrency mining and or holding cryptocurrencies in Russia, it does not work for you. I think your maximum per year that you can deal with is like $6,000 US. If you happen to be rich and or in parliament, you do not have any barriers. You can hold and buy and sell as much as you want per year. And there's been rumors and news about a whole bunch of factories and stuff like that that are around Moscow and St. Petersburg and somewhere in the mountains and in the forest and in the hills where all the deers and birds are, that are being bought up by these billionaires who are creating their own Bitcoin and Ethereum mining rigs. And these people are the same exact people who own the banks in the country. A lot of people were commenting before, this was months ago on the channel, they were talking about how I was completely wrong. There was no way that banks would ever get into Bitcoin. Banks would never touch it. The whole decentralized things, there's no way. I mean, if normal people can do it and normal people, have a couple $1,000s in the bank account, what do you think is going to happen when these people have billions of dollars in order to play with? They're also trying to get into the game. So I thought this was quite interesting. The 7th largest bank in the Philippines, you better believe that the 2nd and 3rd and maybe even the 1st are also in the game as well. But it still makes, I still wonder exactly how deep this is. Like we as normal people, we will never know. We're never in a banking conference. We will never sit in a room with these people in the heads of Bank of America and the Bank of Deutsche Bank. We will never have never have tea with these people. We'll never know exactly what's going on. They have conversations together. They're all working together. These people, they went to the same schools. They all know each other. I wonder exactly how many of them are conversing about, hey, I'm doing this. You should definitely do the same. So bottom line, I wonder how many big players are in the cryptocurrency space. It kind of drives me crazy because I really wonder just how deep this goes, that so many of these people are talking so positively about something that they, in essence, don't control, but are still mining in order to control a large portion of it. Continuing on, the Federal Council of the Government of Switzerland has requested a report on the risks and opportunities of introducing its own state-backed digital currency, or so-called e-franc, Reuters reported on May 17th. The Federal Council moved to investigate the subject at the prompt of Swiss lawmaker and vice president of the Social Democratic Party, Cedric Wermuth. Now, the lower house of the Swiss parliament has to decide whether to support the Federal Council's request for research. Should the proposal be approved, the Swiss Finance Ministry will conduct a study on the subject. No time frame has been published regarding the process. The council has stated, the Federal Council is aware of the major changes, both legal and monetary, which would be accompanied by the use of an e-franc. It asked that the proposal be adopted to examine the risks and opportunities of an e-franc and to clarify the legal, economic, and financial aspects of the e-franc. The idea to develop a national cryptocurrency was put forward in February by Romeo Lache, chairman of the Swiss Stock Exchange 6. He said an e-franc under the control of the central bank would create a lot of synergies, so it would be good for the economy. This is yet again another country who has come forward openly to talk about them possibly creating their own digital currency. This has to be about number 14 or 15 at this point. I still wonder exactly how they will. I'm sure they'll figure out a way to kind of like make them work all together. I'm sure it'll be a lot better than any SWIFT system that we have right now. But this still makes me wonder, because we heard news from Japan just a couple of weeks ago who said they believe that as this continues to move forward and other countries kind of get into creating their own cryptocurrencies, Japan believes that it will possibly cause an end to economics as we know it, because so many things will be able to be controlled, and so much, everything will be controlled, to put it as simply as possible. Not to even go too deep into it, but it's very, I keep saying, guys, like something is definitely happening under our noses. There's no way that a country, a world government is now talking about creating their own cryptocurrency when Bitcoin is only 9 years old. This goes a lot deeper than I think we all know, but it's still very fascinating to hear them openly coming out with news like this. To end it, the last thing we're going to talk about is, in an Ask Me Anything with Reddit BTC on the 16th of this month, Jesse Lund clarified questions about hurdles for the adoption of blockchain and cryptocurrencies, and on the viability of proof of work systems. This came after he received that companies are moving into the cryptocurrency exchange space and the makeup of IBM's blockchain team. When asked about the hurdles faced for the adoption of blockchain and cryptocurrencies, Lund answered that it depends on the familiarity, dependency, and the reputation of the technology, which he stated would come with time. He gave the example of the evolution of minted coins to paper banknotes, which was met with a lot of resistance from the authorities at the time. He further added that when the heated discussions and debate atmosphere around cryptocurrency goes down, businesses will adopt the technology. He said, I see Bitcoin as a utility as it is fully operational, autonomous, global, real-time settlement system that is integrated with all major currencies. Lund also spoke about the interoperability of public networks, where many different digital assets live as a catalyst for future use case scenarios might disrupt big firms today. Lund confessed that he was a big fan of the Stellar Consensus Protocol. He also spoke about how IBM as a company is implementing solutions on the Stellar network. He said that Stellar and IBM had a very strong partnership. No real information onto exactly what kind of partnership this is, but even when we had news a couple of months ago that Stellar and IBM had created a partnership, about a week after we had news that it wasn't real, that it was kind of fake, that any type of partnership actually wasn't real, that it was more of like a handshake between them or some type of agreement. But we've been getting news over the last couple of weeks that this is clearly very real. IBM definitely loves Stellar and they plan on using them in a major way in the future. Alrighty, everyone. If you've managed to continue watching this video for this long, today is Friday, I believe. I will be taking a pause over this weekend. I have been working very hard when it comes to making videos and other projects that I have going on the side. I am a little exhausted from doing so much every single day. I have no time for myself. So this weekend, there will be no videos on Saturday, Sunday, and I believe part of Monday. But Tuesday, I should be fully operational, back to work, making videos once again. So there will be a noticeable absence of news, and should prices somehow explode midway through and I can't make news about it, I'm really sorry. I will not be here. I will be trying my best to relax. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be, whatever you might be doing. I hope it's amazing. I hope it's awesome. I hope you guys have had a great week. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I hope something good happens to you and you have a great time wherever you are, whatever you might be doing. Thank you 100% for all the support. I appreciate it more than you can begin to understand. Thank you once again, and I will talk to you all soon. See you.